Okay, that works.
All right, so let's start with a little warming up here. We're gonna do this. So feet are nice and wide. And we're gonna go alternating arms. So we're gonna inhale one arm up, exhale, bring it down, and then inhale the other arm up. Excellent. All right, one more time each side. Nice. All right, so let's go and do our cat and cow standing. So you can bring the feet in closer if you want, or keep them out where they were. We're gonna bend the knees, tuck the chin, hands on the front of the thighs. This is our exhale. And then on the inhale, we're gonna stand up a little straighter, looking up, rounding up, and then exhale back down to cat. Inhale up to cow. Back and forth, letting the spine warm up. Excellent. And then coming into neutral. Awesome. All right. Let's do laterals next. So feet are wide. So our center of gravity is shifting a little bit, so it's nice to have a steadier base. So one hand can be on the hip or down that leg. We're going to inhale this other arm up, and then exhale, bring it back. Second side, inhale, and exhale. So starting out, you might want to just go past the midline. But as the body warms up, maybe you want to go a little deeper. Just checking in, seeing how it feels. Excellent. All right, one more time each side. Nice, and then back to center. All right, so for our next movement, we're going to do our twist. And we're going to be gentle and stay up in the upper half to upper third of the spine. The lower down we go, the less rotation in the vertebrae that we have. So just being gentle. Arms can be anywhere up to here, anywhere in that range, whatever you like kind of halfway. So on the inhale, we're going to lift nice and tall. On the exhale, turning to one side. Inhale back to center. Exhale, second side. Excellent. All right. This one feels really good today. All right, one more time each side, or we'll do this the whole hour. All right, back to center. Next, we're going to do a half sun salutation, get the body warmed up. And actually, we're going to do 2 rounds of it. So first round is just regular. Second round, we're going to add an extra breath. All right, so here we go. We're going to start with feet are decently wide. Hands at the heart. We're going to inhale, hands come down, and then arms come up. On the exhale, arms out to the side. We're hinging at the hips. You can bend the knees a little bit or a lot, whatever you need to do. We're going to inhale, hands come to the front of the legs wherever they reach. And we're going to lift halfway back up. And then exhale, fold forward again. Bend the knees nice and deep. Arms out to the side. Push the feet in. Inhale, coming all the way up. Palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, 2 more times like that. Inhale, hands down, arms up. Exhale, arms out to the side, forward fold. Bend the knees, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees nice and deep, arms out to the side. Inhale, coming all the way up. Palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Nice. All right, one more time like that. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees nice and deep. Coming all the way up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, second round, we add the extra breath when we come up for that halfway lift. And while we're there, we are working on extending the spine. So we're in this position, we want the head extending forward and the tailbone extending back. All right, here we go. So we're gonna inhale, arms up, exhale, swan dive, hinging at the hip joints, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. We're gonna stay here, exhale. On the inhale, feel the head stretching away from the tailbone. And then on the exhale, bend the knees, fold forward again. Arms out to the side, push the feet in, inhale, coming all the way back up. Palms together, exhale, hands to heart. Awesome, 2 more times. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. We're gonna pause here, exhale. On the next inhale, feel the whole body lengthen. And then exhale, fold forward again. Bend the knees, arms out to the side, push the feet in. Inhale, coming all the way up. Palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, one more time. Inhale. And exhale, swan dive. Bend the knees. Inhale, coming halfway up. You're gonna exhale, pause here. Nice, smooth, soft inhale, lengthen the spine. And then exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees, arms out to the side, push the feet in, inhale. Coming all the way up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Nice, all right. So I'm gonna take my socks off. And we're gonna do our moving balance. So that. Too many layers on that. All right, so for moving balance, if you have socks on, please be careful. Sticky mat's pretty good at being sticky and not sliding, but with socks it might be a little different. Or if you're off on the floor with your socks on, the texture of the floor is not as slippery as it used to be, but just be aware if you have socks on. All right, so first one is we're going to do our palm tree pose. So we'll break it down into steps. So the first option is just coming up on the toes. So we're going to inhale, come up on the toes, exhale back down. So that's option A. Option B is inhale, bringing the arms up, exhale down. Excellent. And then third option is the full pose, which is both. Inhale, come up on the toes, lift the arms up, exhale back down. A fourth option is if you want to add onto this, you can add lifting the toes up when you come back down. So inhale, come up, exhale down, and then lift the toes. Excellent. All right. Let's do one more. Yes, and release. So anytime you want to, if we built up a little tension in the body and you want to shake out that tension, go ahead and do that. I do it a bunch of times. Don't have to do it every time I do it, but It's an option. All right, next one is our Karate Kid flying crane. And let's see. Let's do 2 rounds. We'll do the first round crossbody, and then the second round we'll do marching. All right, so here we go. So crossbody, we'll start with the hands out to the sides, and we're going to cross one hand over to the knee. All right, so it looks like this. We're going to lift one knee up, touch it with the opposite hand, and back down. And then lift the other knee, hand, and back down. All right, so we got that. If you go slower, it makes it harder. If you want to go even more difficult, holding the pose for an extra breath. Or if you want to do it fast, I'm not the yoga police. Excellent. Okay, let's do one more time each side. And then release. All right, so the march one, this is a good one for getting your heart rate. Balance work. All right, so we're gonna bring the arms out in front. And all we're doing is lifting the knees straight up. And this one, if you want to go fast, you can. If you don't want to, that's totally fine. All right, so here we go. So we're gonna lift. And you can build up to speed if you want, or take it slow, that's fine too. Excellent. All right, one more time each side. And release. Awesome sauce. All right. So now that we're all warmed up, let's, we're gonna come down and do hands and knees, and then we'll come back up. So we're gonna do a bunch of hands and knees stuff. So let's sit first and open up the joints, and then we'll come to hands and knees. So go ahead and sit on the floor, however comfortable you want to do that. One more layer. All right, so if you want, you can sit cross-legged or legs straight out, whatever's more comfortable. We'll start with the wrist. So arms out again, tuck the thumb, wrap the fingers around, and make circles with the wrist. Getting into the elbows and the shoulders. Excellent. Release that. You can shake it out and bring the palms together, interlace the fingers, and make figure eights. Excellent. We're going to pause for a moment, pull the hands apart, switch fingers on top, and make a couple more. Excellent. Release that and shake it out. Extending one arm in front, we're going to point the fingers up towards the ceiling and then gently pull the fingers towards the shoulder. And then thumb down towards the floor. Excellent. And one more here. We're going to point the fingers down towards the floor. Take the opposite hand and push the hand into the back of the other hand. Push that hand into the other hand. Excellent. Release that. Shake it out. Let's do the other arm. Fingers extending up towards the ceiling. Gently pulling fingers back towards the shoulder. And then thumb down towards the floor. Excellent. Release that. And then fingers down towards the floor. We're going to push one hand into the other. Excellent. And release that and shake it out. All right, let's do the ankles and then we'll come up onto our hands and knees. All right. So to start out with, we're going to extend the heels away from the body. And we want to have a little bend in the knees so we're not hyperextending the knees. So we're gently pulling the toes back towards the chest. Nice. And then we're going to point and flex. So we're going to point and flex. You can do 1 foot at a time, both together or opposites. Excellent. Release that. And then we're going to do circles around with the feet. You can go the same direction, you can go opposites, together, whatever you like. Just do both directions with both feet. Awesome. Release that. All right, 2 more. Supinate and pronate. So we're turning the sole of the foot back and forth, in towards the center, out towards the side. And you can do this 1 at a time. Opposites or together. Excellent. Release that. And then last one is windshield wipers. So I've got 2 options for the windshield wipers. You can do it just how we regularly do, noticing how that movement is coming into that hip joint. And then the other one is bringing the legs out a little bit wider, bring the feet together and then apart. So it's the same motion, but it's firing a little different in those hip flexors. And since we're going to do a bunch of stuff with the hips, you can do both. All right, so let's release that, shake it out. And then we're going to come up to hands and knees and grab your blocks. All right, if you have any knee issues, you can put a blanket or a towel under your knees. So if your wrists get tired or if you've had injuries or anything like that, there's a couple of different things that you can do. The first thing is safety with the blocks. So this is going to cause falls going like that. So what we want to do is have the 3 middle fingers in the front, pinky and thumb on either side, like that. And then if we're not using the blocks and your wrists get tired, you can do a couple of things. You can roll up the top of your mat and put the bottom of the palm on the mat roll. You can come down to the forearm, which if you have shoulder issues, this might not be better, but at least your wrist won't hurt. All right, and then my favorite and the easiest for me, I mean, everybody's got different issues going on, but making a fist and then you're on the dot like that and then thumbs pointing forwards. So any of those options if your wrists get tired with anything we're doing. But let's start. Okay, we're going to start with cat and cow first. Get that spine back to symmetrical. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to exhale and send the shoulders up towards the ceiling, tuck the chin and the tailbone. This is our cat. On the reverse, we're going to inhale, look towards the horizon, and we don't want to dump the belly towards the floor, so we want to keep the abdomen active, but we're tilting so we've got that opposite curve. And then exhale back to cat, and inhale back to cow. Back and forth 1 or 2 more times. And this is a counter pose, so for any aren't symmetrical, we can always come back to a cat and cow. And that's also good for opening up the spine. All right, let's get into some more fun stuff. All right, so we're gonna take our blocks, and you may not need them. We have different torsos, arms, legs, all that stuff, so you may not need them. I like them because it gives a little bit more space, but if you can reach the floor without scrunching, you're welcome to do that. You don't get extra points if you don't use props in yoga. Sorry, whoever told you that. It's not true. All right. So we're going to bring both blocks over towards the left. And we're going to swing this right leg out and around, and then bring that right block on the outside so that that foot is lined up with that hip. Other option is to come straight through, but some. All right. So first thing we want to do here is we're going to open up the front of the left hip. So we're going to bring the pelvis down towards the floor. So that knee is probably going to come in front of that foot, and that's okay. Take a breath or so here. And then we're going to come back up to neutral. And then we're going to work our way up. So at any point, if you feel a little wobbly, you can stay where you are or come back down. First option, stay here. Next option is hands on that right knee. If you're comfortable here and you want to go up to the next one, you bring the hands up towards the ceiling. Nice. One last option, we're going to bring the pelvis back down towards the floor. If that feels a little wobbly, you can bring your hands back to the knee. Excellent. All right, we're going to bring the hands back down to the knee. And then the hands come down to the block. And then we're going to switch feet. All right, so that knee comes back. And then we're going to walk that left block over, swing that left leg out and around, center the blocks again, or you can walk that knee through the center. Awesome. All right. Starting with bringing the pelvis down towards the floor, that front knee goes forward. Excellent. Back to neutral. And then we're going to do our step up. So you can stay here or bring the hands on top of that knee. Next option is hands up towards the ceiling. And then the last one is bringing that pelvis forward again. Nice. And then working our way back down, come back to neutral. Hands to the knee, hands to the block. And then we're going to send that left knee back to the floor, and we're going to do a revolved low lunge. Yay. Okay, so let's go back to that first leg. We're going to bring that right foot forward again. You can go out and around or through. And then we're going to take the left hand and drop the block down to level 1. That's an option. Or come down to the floor. So if this feels too far, come back up to the block. You can do any of those different heights on it, depending on how that feels. Okay, so left hand is on the block or on the floor. We're going to take this right hand, inhale, bring that hand up towards the ceiling. And don't forget to breathe. Excellent. Let's bring that hand back down. And then we're going to switch sides. So you can bring blocks back up, send that right knee to the floor, bring that left foot forward again. All right, so flipping that right block to level 1 or come down to the floor. And if you need to, you can move that left foot. If it's too close in, you can move it out a little bit or forward or back or wherever it needs to go. We're going to inhale, bring this left hand up towards the ceiling and breathe here. Excellent. And then on the exhale, bring that arm back down. And then we're going to bring the block back up. We're going to send that knee back. And then let's do, we're going to do a cat-cow child's pose, and then we're going to do our working up to camel. All right. So you can move the blocks out of the way a little bit if you want, not too far, because we're going to use them again. We're going to go cat-cow child's pose. So we'll start with a cat. Exhale, shoulder blades up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Cow, looking up towards the horizon. Exhale back. And then down to child's pose. Hips come towards the heels. Head comes down towards the floor. We're not going to stay here. We're going to inhale, come back up to cow. Exhale, cat, down to child's pose. And let's do one more round. Inhale, coming back up to cow. Cat on the exhale, and down to child's pose. Nice. All right, so come back up to table. We're going to grab our blocks, and we're going to come up to this high kneel. So we're just on the shins and the top of the feet. And if your ankles are tight and you're on your toes, another option that we have if you have a blanket or a towel is to roll that up and put it underneath the front of the foot. And that gives a little bit space to let that foot relax a little bit if your feet are tight on top. All right, so for camel pose, we're not going to do a full camel pose, but we're just going to do the warm-ups for it. So it's a bit of a back bend. No, it's totally a back bend, but we're not going to do a deep back bend. We're just going to do the front of the hips part for the most. All right, grab our blocks, and we're going to use those to kind of walk us into it. So all right, so we're going to come down kind of seated and then come back up. We'll do that a couple times. That's an exhale to sit, inhale. And each time that you come up, if you want to look up a little bit, you can. If that feels like it's going to make you dizzy, then just keep your eye at the horizon. All right, let's do one more up and then sit back down. Nice. All right, so let's come back up to this high kneel. Now we're going to do the arms. So we're going to do one at a time. And kind of how we started class, that's what we're doing. So we're going to inhale, bring this arm up, and then exhale, bring it back down. Inhale and exhale. And again, if you know where this is going, if you want to kind of add into it, so we're sending the pelvis forward a little bit when the arm comes up, and then back to neutral. And if you want, you can put the opposite hand on that lower back. If you are not up for back bends, just stay neutral. That's totally fine. Excellent. All right, one more time each side. Excellent. All right, so now we're going to go baby camel. So we're going to bring the blocks back by the ankles. And let's start. It doesn't matter which side you start. We'll do both sides evenly. So I'm going to go with hand on the hip, kind of in the back of it. Stabilizing force here. So we're going to take, inhale, bring this arm up, and then bring it back down to the block. And then inhale, bring it back up, and then exhale. And we'll do the other side. Inhale. And if you can't reach the block by going all the way up, you can just reach back and find it. Just kind of like that. If you want to do that, instead of bringing the arm up and around. If you want to do one full baby camel, you can try that, bringing the hands on the blocks, both hands back, and then the head's going to look up just as far as it's comfortable. If you get dizzy, come into child's pose. Child's pose. All right, so we're going to inhale, come back up, and then we're going to come down to child's pose. So big toes together, knees are wide, and then we're going to sit back on the heels, bring the arms out in front, or you can stack the hands and rest the forehead on the hands. And we'll take a couple breaths here. And this is a good spot to practice that back heart breathing. If you remember that. So imagine where the heart is and then go all the way to the back wall of the body where the ribs come into the spine. And imagine that's where you're breathing into. Maybe feeling the rib cage expand on the back body. Or imagine that somebody has their hand there and the hand comes up with the inhale. And then exhale, it relaxes back down. Nice. All right. So from here, we're going to come back up to hands and knees. If you want to shake out your hands before you come back up, if they're getting a little sore, we're going to do, let's say 3 more things here. I'll try and keep it quick. All right. First one, spinal balance. So we're going to extend one leg back. The opposite arm comes forward. If that's too much to start out with, you can have the toes on the floor. Otherwise, that leg is parallel to the floor. And we'll take a couple breaths here. If you want to make this more of a challenge, you can bring the elbow and the knee together. It's an exhale, inhale, open back up. Excellent. And then release that side. We'll do the other side next. So we'll extend one leg back, opposite arm forward. So you can have the toes on the floor, or leg can be parallel. Extending back with the heel. If that's going to give you a Charlie horse, you can point with the toes or bend the knee a little bit. Excellent. And then release. All right, now comes the fun one. We're going to do hip circles. So if the arms are the hand, you can come down to the forearms and do like a triangle, make a fist with this. Might have enough room. All right, okay, all right, so let's do this. So we're going to lift one leg out and around. So we're making a big circle with the knee. So 3 to 6 times on each side. Excellent. And then switch. Excellent. And then back down. And then our last thing on our hands and knees, let's do tiger tail. All right. So this is probably not the easiest one, but let's go ahead and try it anyway. So we're going to extend one leg back, bend the knee. The sole of the foot is up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to take the opposite hand, point it forward, and then bring it around. If you can, reach that foot. We're going to push the foot into the hand. If you can't, that's okay. Just extend that arm back. Excellent. One more breath. And then release. All right. Shake it out. Take a breath. And then let's do the other side. Extend that leg back. Bend at the knee. Sole of the foot points up towards the floor. Or, I'm sorry. The sole of the foot is aimed towards the ceiling. Extend the opposite arm. We're going to swing that arm around. Grab that foot. We're going to push the foot into the hand. It gives us a nice quad stretch there. Take a couple breaths here. Come out anytime you need to. Excellent. And then release. And then from here, we're going to come up to standing. So if you want to come back down and then come up, that's awesome. Otherwise, we're going to work on trying different ways to get up. So from here, if you're on your knees, right? Gotta practice. If you fall over, you gotta get back up. Can't, no, not today. I don't have anything like that. All right, so bringing one foot in front and then hands on that knees. We're gonna curl the toes of the back foot and then push up and then step the feet together. All right, did we get everybody up? All right. So let's move the blocks out of the way into do a couple things here. So we didn't do a counter pose for the last bit that we were on the floor, but I kind of felt like wrists were getting tired. If you want to move them around, shake them out, you can do that. I'm going to turn my mat sideways because we're going to do some wide-legged poses. But first, let's do, we'll just do this. So we're going to do wide-legged half sun salutation. All right, so 2 options. You can go wide on the narrow side of the mat or wider on the long side of the mat. Either way, whatever is more comfortable. And then if you have back issues, do the arms closer together. I'm going to do straight arms. So I'm going to go up, down, up, like that. If you have back issues, do that or bring the legs closer together. All right, so here we go. So we're going to inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, fold forward. We're hinging at that hip joint. Inhale, halfway lift. The hands can come to the front of the legs. Exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees nice and deep. Inhale, arms come to the ears. And then all the way up. And then exhale, arms back down. All right, let's do that one 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees nice and deep. Arms to the ears, and then push up. And then exhale, arms back down. Time. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees. Inhale, arms to the ears, all the way up. And then exhale, back down. Nice. All right. So to take breaks with the feet, you can step the feet back together, shake them out. And if you want for this next one a block, you can grab a block. We're going to do a rainbow pose. All right, so feet are as wide as comfortable. And we're going to inhale. On the exhale, we're going to fold forward from the hip joints. You can bring your hands to the block or the floor. Or if you aren't reaching either of those and you have a chair handy, you can use the chair. All right, so this is a nice twist. And inhale, bring this left hand up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring it back down. Second side, inhale. And exhale, back down. Back to the first side, inhale. And exhale. Second side, inhale. And exhale. And last time each side, here we go. Inhale. And exhale. And then last one. Inhale. And exhale. Excellent. Bend the knees, hands come to the hips. We're going to inhale, lifting back up. And then you can heel toe or hop if you don't have your knees replaced. All right, if you want, check it out. And then let's do pinwheels. Okay, so feet are nice and wide. Bring the arms out to the side. And this is basically just crossbody again. So wherever you reach, that's where you're going to go. So we're going to inhale nice and tall. And then on the exhale, one hand goes to the opposite leg. Wherever you're reaching, knee, shin, ankle, whatever. Inhale, come back up. And then exhale, other side. Inhale up, and then on your own, excellent. One more time each side. Nice. And then release the arms, heel toe, or step the feet back together. All right. So we'll do a tree pose, and then we're going to come back down to the floor. All right. I don't know if my balance is up for this today. I'm going to try it. All right. So different options for the tree pose. Starting with the heel above the ankle. So this is our first position for the feet. So we want to check in with this hip. I'm exaggerating here, but we want to keep that straight leg straight, activating the muscles around that joint. And then this hip is open and loose. Hands at the heart. And then we're going to inhale and grow our branches. And then we've got arm options. So straight up, power pose, index fingers point up towards the ceiling. You can do a Y, do a T with the wind. If you have your balance and you want, you can bring this foot up higher, which apparently I don't. Keep it on the floor, that's fine, it's better than falling over. No, not today. All right, that's all right. And then we're going to come out nice and graceful. Awesome. All right, shake out the legs. At least you can shake out the arms too if you like. And then we'll do the other side. All right, foot on the floor, check in with that hip, heel above the ankle, hands at the heart. We're going to inhale, grow our branches. And then options Y, T. If you have your balance and you want. Wow, I can't even do that side today. Oh, that's all right. Just keep breathing. Excellent. And then when you're ready, coming out nice and graceful. Excellent. All right, shake it out. And then let's come down to the floor option to do a squat first and then sit on the floor. If you're like, no way, not today, that's fine. Just come and sit. If you are working on your squat and your heels aren't on the floor, all right. Oh my God, okay. This is for my friends at home. All right, so if you're working on your squat and your heels are, you can practice with a towel or a blanket. And so the front of the foot is on the floor and the heels on the blanket. And you come down into your squat. And then if you want, you can push the knees away. Hands together, knees away. All right.
It's called falling.
Falling, did everybody fall on the floor? Just had enough. Okay, and then coming down nice and gracefully, or falling, whatever works. Okay, so we're actually gonna come straight onto the spine because there's some more stuff to do on the floor. So bring the feet up to the top of the mat. And then we're gonna roll down onto the flat of the back. And let's do, we're just gonna do Apanasana. Unless your back is feeling a little tight, you can do the magic 3. Remember that. If not, we'll just do Apanasana. So hands come onto the knees. The shins are parallel to the floor. We're going to exhale and draw the knees in. On the inhale, we're going to let the knees back out. So we keep the hands on the knees. So we're only moving as much as we can bend our elbow, basically. If you do this one at home and you want to make this more of a challenge, you can release the knees and keep the shins parallel and go further if you don't have back issues. This is a good inner core strengthener. But when I'm doing the Apanasana in class, it's usually as a counter pose. Just keep it in short and relaxed. All right. From here, we're going to bring the feet down to the mat. And the feet are going to go out away from the body a little bit, not too far. And we're going to do windshield wipers here. So the arms can come out to a T. And then we're going to drop the knees to one side. Inhale, knees back up. Exhale, knees to the other side. So like anything else, like most anything else, there's lots of options here. You can do one knee out at a time. Bring it back up and then drop the other knee out and bring it back up. Sometimes that fires the muscles a little different. Okay, and then I'm going to give you one more option here to do at home if you want this to be more of a challenge. We're going to lift the feet together and then go side to side. So again, this is not something you probably want to do a lot of if you have back issues, but if you don't and you're looking on some core strengtheners, this is good for those obliques, so the muscles on the sides of the center. Okay, and then back to center. Let's do I think we have time to do the 4 directions here. All right, we'll try. So let's bring the right leg up towards the ceiling. You're gonna wrap the hands behind that leg. On the exhale, we're gonna pull that leg in towards the chest. Inhale, let it back up again. Exhale in. Inhale out. And one more time. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale out. All right. We're going to take the left arm out to the side, right hand on the outside of that right thigh. We're going to drop that right leg towards the right side of the floor. On the inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, drop it out to the right. Inhale, bring it back up. And one more time, out to the side. Beautiful. Inhale, bring it up. And then we're going to switch. So extend that left leg out of the way. Right arm comes out to the side. We're going to drop that right leg across the body to the left side of the floor. If it's okay with your neck, you can turn and look towards your right hand. If not, just keep looking straight up at the ceiling. Excellent. We're going to inhale, bring that leg back up to center. Bend both knees, both feet come into the mat. And let's do the other leg. Left foot up towards the ceiling, hands wrapped behind that left leg. On the exhale, bring that leg in towards the chest. Inhale, release it back out. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, send it out. And one more time. Exhale. And inhale. Nice. Right arm out to the side, left hand on the outside of that left leg. Drop that left leg out towards the left side of the floor. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale out. Inhale up. And one more time. Exhale out. And inhale up. Awesome. All right. Move the right leg out of the way. Left arm comes out to the side. We're going to drop that left leg over towards the right side of the floor. If it's okay with your neck, you can turn and look at that left hand. Excellent. On the inhale, bring it back up. We're going to bend both knees, bring both feet into the mat. We'll do 3 Apanasanas. Exhale, knees in. Inhale, knees out. Excellent. All right. So let's do 2 rounds of bridge pose, and then we'll get ready for our relaxation pose. All right. So for our bridge pose, we're going to bend the knees, feet on the mat. We're lining up the knees, the heels, and the hip sockets. So they're all lined up. And we're going to do a regular round, and then we're going to do challenge round. Okay. So arms start down by your side. We're going to inhale, push the feet into the floor, lift the arms up, lift the hips up towards the, and then exhale, arms down, hips down. And again, inhale, lift. Exhale, release. And one more time, inhale, lift. And exhale, back down. Nice. All right, challenge round. We're going to keep the arms down by our sides. We're going to inhale, lift the hips up. And then we're going to come up on the toes. And then the knees are going to go out wide. And then exhale, knees back together. And then release the hip down to the floor, nice and slow. And then the heels come down. All right, let's do that one 2 more times. Inhale, lift the hips up on the toes. Knees go wide. Exhale, knees in. Release the hips back down, nice and slow. And then the heels come down. All right, last one. Inhale, push the feet into the floor, lift the hips up on the toes. Knees go wide. Exhale, knees together. Coming down on the spine, hips come down, and then the heels come down. Nice. All right, so adjust the spine back to normal, and then we're going to bring the knees back in, wide-legged, Apanasana. Knees are out wider than the hips. Exhale, knees come in towards the chest. Inhale, knees go out. Excellent. From here, you're going to bring feet down to the mat and arms down by your side. Options with the legs. So you can keep the knees bent, feet on the mat, or extend the legs all the way straight out. Arms down by your side. We're going to inhale, arms up overhead to the floor above you. Exhale, arms back down by your sides. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, back down. Inhale. And exhale. Go ahead and do 2 more on your own. And then after you've finished your last one, we're going to get into our relaxation pose. So relaxing the legs and the feet away from each other. Arms can be down by your side or out and away from the body a bit. Palms up or palms down, whatever's more comfortable in the shoulders. Maybe get any last little wiggles out. I'm going to sit up so you can hear me better. And then we're going to do a full body relaxation, walking up the body, relaxing each part as we go, starting with the feet. Relax the toes. Relax the tops of the feet, the soles of the feet, and the heels. Release the ankles. Relax the calves and shins. Release the knees. Release the knees and the space behind the knees. Relax the tops of the thighs and the backs of the thighs. The pelvis be heavy and sink into the earth. Relax the abdomen. Release the rib cage and let go of breath. Let the shoulders be heavy and sink into the earth. Relax the upper arms, elbows, and lower arms. Relax the hands, fingers, and palms. Relax the throat and the back of the neck. Release the jaw. Smooth the forehead and face. Let any last thoughts seep out the top of the crown of the head. Let the earth's gravity hold you. Let the air around you breathe you. Take the next few moments and just be. Gently coming back into awareness. Wiggle your toes. Wiggle your fingers. If you'd like, you can roll your head side to side. When you're ready, and with an inhale, rolling over onto your right or left side. When you're ready, and again with an inhale, pushing up to a comfortable seated position. And to bring breath back into the body and find us safely on our way, let's finish with sun breath number. Front, we're going to inhale, open, exhale, close. 3 times. Ready? Here we go. Inhale, open. Exhale, closed. And inhale, open. Exhale, closed. And one more time. Inhale, open. And exhale, closed. Palms together, hands at the heart. And namaste. Namaste. All right, gang, thank you.